Hello, everybody. I'm your host, Eric Bird, here at StopStrugglingNow.com. And tonight, we're talking about a bull run is upon us, ladies and gentlemen, or is it a debt trap? Are you ready for the Building the Wealth program now? Well, here's how. And welcome to the SSN Nation Money Making Monday live stream. Stop Struggling Now gear. Check. And please like, subscribe, and click the bell below so you get the latest updates. Now, let's get to it. All right, welcome back, ladies and gentlemen, and everybody out there. I appreciate you joining me this evening. The Olympics are going on, and some other things that you could be doing. So thank you so much for being in the house, and also everybody out there, please share the videos. Why? Because the YouTube gods show us no love. People need to know about this information because things are about to get real. In about 45 to 60 days, things are going to change, and if you position yourself the right way, it could be for the better by letting the government help you build wealth. We got a lot to talk about. And once again, let me see who's in the house. But first, I have to give a shout out to our very own Professor Auntie Val and company in business, Beachfront Java. Go use it's coffee, it's tea, but make sure you go to beachfrontjava.com and use the promo code SSN Lifestyle, all caps, if you want a discount for life after your first order. And there's over 20 different varieties of coffee. That's right, from what's those regions that people say have the best coffee in the world, the cocoa beans? Well, you know where they are: South America, Central America, Indonesia, and the motherland, Africa. So those are some great coffees on tap. And if you like whole bean, fine ground, drip ground, she's got you. If you like Keurig, because you have a Keurig, she's got you. So go over to beachfrontjava.com, ladies and gentlemen. Let's see who's in the house tonight to spread some love. Our chat room is open to everybody on Monday nights. So make sure if you have questions, if you have anything you want to contribute, don't be afraid. No matter which platform you're on, put it down there in the chat room so everybody can help see it and help other people. All right, let's see what else we got going on, because we're doing our Instagram live as well, which is something that's a little bit different. That's been met with cool reception, but nonetheless, we're still going to go over there and do it. And up first is Laverne Penix. He's known as Mr. Cool in these YouTube streets. And he has that icon next to his name, which I humbly appreciate. And welcome to the SSN Nation Money Making Monday live stream. He says his tagline this evening: hello, SSN Nation. I hope everyone is doing well. I received a notification and saw the trailer. Thank you so much. Everybody who comes in the chat room, please let me know if you saw the trailer, if you received the notification from YouTube. Why do I ask? Because we have thousands of subscribers and hardly anybody receives notifications. And that's why you need to sign up for the email list, because that way you make sure you get the email that comes out. The email list is at the very bottom of this description box here on YouTube. Everybody on podcast, well, it just depends on which platform you're on. Will you be able to get the links down below to the email at the very bottom? So go down there and get them. Also in the house, the new retiree, the soon-to-be Mr. Worldwide, the soon-to-be retiree that's going to be on YouTube as well, he tells us, for his worldwide travels. Smart man. Welcome, Victor Marrero, to the SSN Nation Money Making Monday live stream with that icon next to his name, which I humbly appreciate. And he says his tagline this evening: Hello, all. Let's do this. He's exactly right. And I put an emphasis on let's do this, ladies and gentlemen. Is it a bull run or a debt trap that you're going to lock yourself into? And are you going to be ready to build wealth after you then got in the debt trap? It's hard to do. So we don't want you in the debt trap straight out the box. We want you to have liquid cashola on hand. All right, Victor Marrero, Eric, your mic sounds weird. Your voice is muffled a little. Uh-oh. Okay, mic check, mic check. Let me know if that's any better. We'll see. I don't know if I'll be able to fix it tonight, but he says now we can't hear you. Yes, I realize that. I did turn it off. Let me know how it's going right now. Hopefully we're back to the mix. If not, hold on. If not, I have something else I can do. All right, now is good. Thank you so much for that, Victor Marrero. Now let's get to the business at hand. Some people will say, Eric, how do you know there's going to be a bull run? How do you know this? Well, ladies and gentlemen, it's history. It's the way things go. It's simple, quite frankly, but I have to give caution because let's call it what it is. This is unlike any time before in history. Anytime. 14 years ago, 15 years ago, there was something called the Great Recession. 3 years ago, 4 years ago was the Great Pandemic worldwide. So the problem is this. In 2007, 8, and 9, the crises, they didn't do anything. They did not fix that crisis. All they did was extend it. Thus, why the debt for the United States is at its all-time high, as it will continue to be. Thus, the seemingly everybody's living paycheck to paycheck, regardless of their wages. There's a reason for all of this. Because they keep dumping money into the money supply. That is not good for us here, ladies and gentlemen. So what do? You manufacture a bull run. How do you manufacture bull runs? I've talked about this for the last 6 months. Federal Reserve cuts rates. People are going to borrow. Borrowing means you did not earn $400,000 when you bought that house. You got a piece of paper. And magically, they said you can buy something worth $400,000. But somebody got $400,000. So that is manufacturing out of thin air money. That means the bull run will start because when the interest rates come down, I can buy more. That's right. And by buying more means more competition. More competition means higher prices. And I'm not only competing against you when I'm buying real estate that gets me in a debt trap. I'm competing against corporations who's out here also buying homes, which when we talked about this 3 or 4 years ago, people said corporations were buying homes. What did I say? I said, let them buy. In fact, buy them all. And the reason why I said that is because now these corporations are all of a sudden, after a few years have went by and the home prices did not go up 20, 30, 40% like they were in 2020 and 2021. Now they're sitting there with record high real estate taxes, record high insurance or lack of insurance, and interest rates, because more than likely they got adjustable loans. They've also messed around and found out. So in those cities that they flock to, think about it. Where was everybody trying to go? Texas, Louisiana, Tennessee, North Carolina, South Carolina. Well, incoming, ladies and gentlemen, there's going to be a dichotomy that's going to make it where you better position yourself because these guys are going to have to start offloading real estate. because they're not finding any suckers anymore. Over the last 3 or 4 years, people have gotten more educated. They know how to buy now. They understand. Why am I buying a debt trap? Because 30 years for a mortgage and you have no income coming in other than what you're working for, that is a debt trap, meaning you can't build wealth. So we'll see how this goes tonight, because I'm going to start it off. We're going to go with the headlines. If you're not paying attention to financial news and updates, all I can tell you is you need to. Let's get it on screen. I'm going to bring up something today that sparked this conversation that we're going to have tonight. Because again, you have to buy assets. And if you're new here, everybody knows what are assets. It's not what they used to teach you in school. It's the SS&N Nation way. It's the way the wealthy do it. Assets are something that I buy that gives me money back. So if I buy it, I walk off. And if I got to work for it, then that is a liability. If I buy it and it's bringing money into my pocket, that is an asset. So don't let anybody out here fool you, ladies and gentlemen. They've been fooling you for 100 years because banks and credit, they thrive off of the foolery, the buffoonery. They fooled everybody over the last 50, 60, 70 years. But now it's 2024. And now you're going to ride the red wave going up, not red going down. It's the red wave going up in the stock market and real estate prices. It's going to be very, very interesting. Here we go. Let's go. Victor Marrero. He's sitting here with, hold on a second. I was going to go to a screen. Just a second. Hold on. There's something I didn't do here. Here we go. I think this is the one I want. So we'll see about it. Oh, okay. Let's go here. Victor Marrero has a comment that I want to go look. Welcome to the SS&N Nation Money Making Monday live stream. Hopefully you're out there and enjoying these live streams that I put on the last 2 or 3 weeks. Let's see here. He says major corporations announcing their earnings this week. Yes, Microsoft, Pfizer, Facebook, MasterCard, amongst a few. Well, he's right about that. Plus the rumor of the announcement of interest rate coming down, market movers. Exactly. This is all it takes. It doesn't take any more than this. This is all it takes, ladies and gentlemen. You have to position yourself. What does position yourself actually mean? A lot of people will say, well, Eric, get with the positioning. How do I get in position? Well, there's only a few ways. You're going to have to start buying some assets. What are those assets looking like that makes it easy for the Federal Reserve to make you rich instead of being in the debt trap? Unfortunately, yes, a home is a debt trap, but it also can make you money in a short period of time in this era of America, because home prices can go up 10, 20% year over year if there's a lot of consumer demand. So then you turn into a person that says, hey, I'm going to buy this, but I'm not going to make money now. I don't want to wait for 2% or 3% price increase. I think this 10% year over year. That's what I think. Will it? More than likely, but not this year. But you have to position yourself, right? So if you are thinking short term, then I would believe you would be correct in buying a home, even though long term it is a debt trap unless you have assets that pay for it. Now, notice I said assets that pay for where you live. That is what you're trying to do. You are not trying to pay for where you live with your hard work, working 30, 40, 50, 60 hours a week, and then go and pay for where you live. That is not what we're trying to do here. In fact, the first thing that you should be doing is buying an asset that brings money in the door. You can always work. You can always go down and get a job and work to pay for where you live. But the idea is for you to buy something straight out the box so you have money coming in that says, oh, I have 2,000 or 1,500 or 3 grand coming in that I can count on every month. So now I'll use that to pay where I live. Now the pressure is off. So one of my pet peeves, because this is the real world, when I used to work and the bosses would come in or the managers would come in or your coworkers would come in and beyond whatever, acting all crazy one way or another, the disrespect, the lack of getting promoted, even though you're one of the better workers in the place, the nepotisms, the favoritisms and all that stuff. And you're watching people who don't deserve to be promoted or in their positions getting promoted. And you're sitting there like, what the hell am I doing here? Yes, we've all been through that. Some people stuck it out. Other people said sayonara. But the point of the matter is you can make different decisions for yourself if you have everything in place where you don't have to worry about speaking up, saying that ain't right, man. I'm better than these people up in here. Look at my records. Look at what I've been doing. I've never been late a day in my life, and I've been working it for 5 years. And you guys giving these dudes, they done missed damn near a year's worth of work, and you don't give a damn. But yet they're getting promoted. See, this kind of stuff. All I'm saying is this is why things are the way they are in America, because a lot of people, unfortunately, they give up their morals. They have to give up their decency. They have to give up. Sometimes you have to give up yourself. You have to just say, okay, the disrespect, but because I need this, I'm going to take it. That happens a lot. So we don't want that for you, ladies and gentlemen. So is this going to be a bull run for you right now that's going to come up over the next 2-3 years? Or are you going to sit back and keep burying your head in the sand and not wanting to join the wealth crowd? Because this time it's over. It's a wrap. You're not going to get another chance. Unless you already have time clock has started, ladies and gentlemen. What do I mean by that? I keep saying this the last 30 days. If you do not get to $150,000 to $200,000 in revenues in the next 2 to 3 years, you're going to find yourself, if you're making under those numbers, you will find yourself living paycheck to paycheck. And you will be like thinking, damn, that guy Eric and the SSN Nation, they told me 3 years ago what was going to happen, and I didn't listen. Who says you have to stay in America to do whatever you want? All the corporations, they have business all over the world. Why are you going to limit yourself? You are a corporation. Why do you think you have a social security number? Why do you think, let's use a different country, cedula? Why do you think you have government ID for your country? You are a commodity. You are an earner. That's how they make money for their government. They got to tax you. So you don't think that the government's not going to think about their self-preservation first and foremost? They're going to tax you before they're going to worry about you. You're going to have to work your 40 to 60 hours a week or more and live paycheck to paycheck. And who cares if we tax you more like the Romans did? We'll go to burn up our country to tax individuals before we die. We're going to die. All right, let's go, gentlemen. Are you guys with me here yet? Do you understand the severity of the situation? Let's get into, are you going to be in the bull run? First of all, down below in the description box, make sure you get your Robinhood or Webull brokerage account. Get your free shares of stock if you haven't already. And speaking of that, I don't even think I have it down there. Here, I don't even think I have it down there. So I'll put it in the chat room. First things first, just go to yieldmaxetfs.com. Yieldmaxetfs.com. Just do that first. And if you want to do something second, then just go see JP Morgan ETFs, JEPI, JEPI, JEPQ. It's that simple. What's so hard about that? That's not very hard, is it? 10% returns, and you're still liquid. You have to have a brokerage account. I don't care if you don't get Robinhood or Webull. The links are down in the chat room. I don't care if you don't get them.
Well, they are down below in the description box. I don't care if you don't get them. The thing is, though, I'm going to put them in the chat room also here. The thing is, you're going to need it. You're going to need to have dividends coming in while you're sleeping. You're going to need either real estate returns or business returns coming in that you have already bought or put into play. Now, some people would say, well, Eric, I can't do everything. Okay, that's simple, but you can possibly leverage. See, that's the thing. You never know unless you start looking. Somebody called me up like 3 weeks ago and they said, I bought a cleaners. And I was like, that's pretty interesting. How much was it? They said because the guy was 78 years old, nobody in his family wanted to be in the cleaners business. He says to me, Eric, the guy just said, I can work it off. I can pay him. He literally gave me owner financing. And he'll even come in and help a few days to make sure I'm trained up for the next 6 months. I was like, damn. And the only reason that that could happen is because the man was out there looking for it. You guys understand you have to look for your opportunities. Just like you have to, as everybody knows, when you look for a job, you're looking for an opportunity. So the same thing works for everything else. You have to be looking in order to get any crazy deal like that. Who would have thought? Who would have thought the guy was in the right place at the right time, but if he was not looking, he couldn't have been in the right place at the right time. So this is what you have to start thinking about when it comes to right place, right time, and you know the Federal Reserve is going to reduce interest rates. Come on now, ladies and gentlemen. You know how this goes now. I see a lot of things that I put in here. Unfortunately, it's not going to be good. That's not good. That's all over the place. I put it in the chat room. So forgive me. It's all mangled up. Some of those links will not work simply because they're crossovers. It's too long. So here goes Webull. All right, that's Webull. There's also something that has popped up on the screen lately. I've talked about Wealthfront for years. Money into something and just set it and forget it. And Wealthfront, basically, anything over $500, they don't charge you an annual fee. Soon as you get up to $5,000, then they start charging you an annual fee. So you can put in anything from well, you can put in 100 too, but the point is 500 and up is generally the requirement. But you can put in 1,000, you can put in 2,000, you can put in 3,000, you can put in 4,000, and you won't be charged any annual fee by the Wealthfront company. But as soon as it goes over 4,999, you're going to be charged a fee. So here's the Wealthfront link down below. Go check them out if you just want to set it and forget it and let them manage your money. It's simple. You can do it that way. All right. We make this easy for you because the bull run hasn't even started yet. Yes, the stock market is up 20, 40% over the last 2 years. But guess what? That is in light of interest rates being increased. What do you think is going to happen when the interest rates come down? And these corporations can borrow millions of dollars, hundreds of millions are going to be put into the stock market, into crypto. That's right, crypto as well, because year over year, it keeps rising. Now, I'm not talking about just any crypto. We're talking about Bitcoin and Ethereum. The two. We're not going past that. You want to build wealth? You have to diversify. You have to put your money into several different vehicles. So we've talked about the top 3 vehicles. If you want returns, if you want monthly and weekly returns, then you have to set yourself up to receive that. That means you have to be looking for a business that somebody may be selling that you can buy into, not startups. Startups are high risk, high rewards, but at the same time, that's too risky right now. You can't lose any money at this point. This is why we can't go out on a limb for any of these other things that we did go out on a limb before. The debt boxes, the Miracle Cash box and all Miracle Cash and more, NFTs and all this other stuff. You can't do that anymore. Throwing away any money is going to be very, very bad for you, because in 3 years, just picture it this way. What if costs are twice as much as they are now? Are you thinking that far ahead? Well, guess what? In business, people are thinking far ahead. Investors, they are thinking far ahead. Are you going to be one of them? Then you're going to have to think far ahead. You're going to have to start scouring, getting information. Like Brian Page, Mr. Financial, sends me emails to give me information every day. Joe Nay, another investor, is in the house. Welcome to the SSN Nation Money Making Monday live stream with that icon next to his name, which I greatly appreciate. And he says, what's good, SSN? You know, we in the house, man, and you're here. That makes it better. How is everybody on this Monday? Making Monday. That's right. We keeping it 100 up in here. That's what we do, ladies and gentlemen. And all these gentlemen that have the icons next to their name, notice I said they're all investors, ladies and gentlemen. And some of you would say, well, okay, real estate, stock market, the number 2 things, that's what you have to be in. You have to be in finance. Okay, in case you're new here, just get things straight. There's only about 2,600 billionaires on the planet out of 8 billion people. All right. You can aspire to be a billionaire, but you want to know what they all have in common? They all have in common businesses, stocks. They're in the finance business. That's what they're doing. They have businesses. That should tell you the story. And don't believe the real estate trap. Because again, what do you hear from these realtors? They don't make land anymore. Well, since when does a home, you know what? I'll have to say this because this is just drives me crazy. When people are out here buying these liabilities and they use terms like they're not selling land anymore. And I'm like, since when did they sell a house that stays erected for hundreds of years in America? I'm like, did I miss something? So what if somebody puts a house on, builds homes on land right now? Because I guarantee you in about 50 years or less, the thing is rotting away unless somebody lives in it. How many homes do we have vacant in America? Let's get real. Multifamily homes, apartment dwellings. How many of them things are just sitting vacant or run down? So nothing lasts forever, and nobody keeps anything forever unless you're rich and unless you have set up something like a trust, unless you set up something where it can keep going down the line. It's very, very hard for the next generation to keep the wealth that you've accumulated unless you set up a succession. Because generally, by the 3rd generation, all the money's gone, no matter if you're the richest person in the world right now. That's how it works, because you have to always buy. People are greedy. They're going to take chances or throw it away. Either way, you don't want to do that. You want to set up your family for life? Well, guess what? You're going to have to set up some sort of businesses. And the worst part is you can't foresee if the business that you set up is actually going to be around for 50 more years or 100 years, because things change. Because guys that used to make typewriters till computers came out, they were on top of the world even when computers came out. When soon as a printer came out, typewriter was like damn near non-existent. If you can find one right now, nobody knew in 1960, 65, 70 that, hey, this typewriter company that we're handing down to you that makes us millions of dollars annually, you're going to be set for life. Well, in one generation, you ain't set for nothing. So this is the point. But if you would have diversified and had stocks on the top 10 companies, then you may survive. You'll have a shot. If you have ETFs that go by the S&P 500, that goes by the Dow Jones, that goes by NASDAQ, they will always be around. So even if one of the companies fails and they boot them out like they did Sears, they put in another company in the ETF. So the ETF Long live you and your family, because now you will always be able to accumulate money. Did I call this Build Wealth Money Making Mondays? Well, there you go. So what would that look like? That would look like you would get an ETF that has the top 500 companies on the NASDAQ, or the top 400, or the top 100, or just the NASDAQ itself. Victor Marrero knows what I'm talking about. And then some of you others know, because we've talked about it before. Victor Marrero always puts in his QQQs, SCHDs. He puts that in there all the time, just so you guys understand. So therefore, you can actually leave that long live, because the stock market is ingrained, because the top 10% own 90% of the stock market. Okay, 89%, but I'm pretty sure it's 90% now. I haven't gotten the last numbers over the last 3 years, because they've made more wealth, $49 trillion in wealth from the top 1%. So obviously they put money into the stock market, right? So clearly let's call it what it is. That's more than our deficit. The United States deficit. Come on. So clearly they can do whatever they want out here. You should be aspiring to do whatever the rich billionaire, millionaire guys are investing in. That's what you should be investing in. If they say we're investing in stocks and equities and finance and hedge funds and management and whatever we can do with money, that's number one billionaire class right there. There's like 450 to 500 of those are in the finance, in the money game. Number 7 is real estate on the list of billionaires, just so everybody knows. So don't think real estate is an end all be all. It does help us. It does help you. But remember the help that came and arrived in the early, 2012s, 2013, 2014, 2015 was Airbnb. Remember how that arrived on the scene along with Uber? What did that do? That gave you and me the power to go out here and make money off of an existing vehicle. You could go buy an apartment or condo. You can go buy duplexes. You can go buy townhouses, homes, or whatever. And now you had a vehicle that you could rent it out, and you didn't have to find the renter. That changed the game. But the government, the hotels, and the rich dudes said, hold on. Do you know how much money ordinary citizens have been able to get out of this? Because that was not a debt trap. That was a vehicle that you could actually use, so you would have profits coming in your door. All right, let's go. We got more to talk about here, and I'll go over that story shortly. But that is the type of thing that eventually dies. Why does it die? I'm going to tell you why it dies. It's because when you sit there and you have entities, the builders, developers, then you have the banks give the builders and developers and you as a home buyer or duplex buyer or apartment complex buyer gives you a loan. And they say, hey, man, just give me 3.5% or give me 4%. And you're very happy to get that because you turn around and you're getting something that gives you 20 to 25% on your money. You're thinking, I'm doing great. You're correct. You know the guys that gave you that 4.5%, 3.5% loan? Them dudes are pissed. They're like, oh, damn, we got to stop these guys because they're making money off of our loan that we loaned them, and we can't make that money. Do you see these guys making hundreds of thousands of dollars and millions of dollars? We don't get that. All we get is a measly 3-4%. You guys out here thinking that there's a level playing field. These people are watching you. So therefore, what happened over the last 3-4 years? A lot of you who are doing short-term rentals, it could be banned in your city. They're making you get a license now. They're charging you what they would charge a hotel with taxes. What does that do? That eliminates your sorry ass. And I don't mean that in a personal way. I'm just saying that's how they're thinking. We need to eliminate their sorry asses because we could actually be making all that money. So what do? They implement Plan D, E, and F. We're going to go out, and what are they going to do? They're going to do the bull run for us. What are they going to do? They're going to go out here and buy homes, which is what they did. We're going to go buy duplexes. In fact, forget all that. We're going to build whole neighborhoods and we're going to rent to you. We ain't going to sell to individuals. We're going to rent to own. Different way of doing the old-fashioned Airbnb, right? But it's all in their hands, all in their control. So you're getting pushed out. So just think about all this. You want to be in on the bull run? Well, now's the time. You can join them as long as the prices are going up, because that makes you dangerous. If you have more than one property and now all of a sudden a property moves 10, 15, 20, 30% over a 2-year period, these homes are 500. Okay, I'll use the average they have down here now. $442,000 is the average. All right. This is wealth, ladies and gentlemen. If you want to build it, you're about to be in the bull run on the real estate game. You're about to be in the bull run on the stock market. So you're going to have to figure out, you want to know how? You're going to have to get into a debt trap potentially. But why not get in smarter? Why aren't you out here looking for that FHA loan where you only need like a 620 credit score and you can find yourself a fourplex? Can you? Right now, you might still be able to. Because soon as the rates start getting lower and soon as people don't have to use FHA, now you're going to be up against these other people who also are looking for that same fourplex, threeplex, where they could have money coming in annually. And you're going to have other people looking for that 22, 40 unit apartment building, because once interest rates come down, now they can afford it. And now their payments are less, which now means more people can buy or more groups of people can buy. So Joe Nay says what he said already, and he says he got the notification. That's great. Glad to hear it. He got the notification. I saw the trailer. That's right. And oh, speaking of the trailer, hey, you guys, if you missed the trailer, y'all might have seen, I don't know if it was the right trailer though. Damn it. If it was the Don Cheadle trailer, whoever has Peacock, that is the new app they have now, the streaming service is Peacock. They have a new show that just came out. Don Cheadle, Kevin Hart, and a few others. Go check it out. All right. Check it out, ladies and gentlemen. So there you go. All right. There we go. And yeah, Joe Nay, he's got them. Oh, he got the eyes out. The trailer. And guess what? I just smashed that like button. That's right. Thank you so much. Everybody that's here, no matter where you are and listening to this, please smash the like button. Please, because the YouTube gods. Teresi, welcome on Instagram. Very nice to see you. Thank you so much for being here. If you have any questions, comments, then do so. Ask them, please. All right. Yes, about the trailer. If it's the right trailer, I do know it was at the Playboy Mansion. That's right, ladies and gentlemen. There's nobody else. Tony Jones, T. Jones, my friends in Cali, T. Jones, you have video and you have photos. Come on now. You're going to have to give them up, man. I need to make a new little 40 SSN lifestyle promo. So if you get this, I'll be in Cali shortly, so I'll have some new stuff, ladies and gentlemen. I don't know. He was messing around in the grotto. So anyhow, I don't know if some of these pictures I might not be able to use, but we will see. All right. But yes, that was the Playboy Mansion. I don't think anybody can go there now because I don't even think they throw parties there now. The world famous Hugh Hefner joint. Everybody used to go. Everybody was there for one thing or another. And the place is quite spectacular. They don't even show some of the stuff on TV. I just got to say, you might see, I don't know if you look, probably if you Google, you can probably find there's an actual game room in this place. All right. That they rarely show. We're talking game room, laying around in the game room. It's awesome. It's awesome. All right. I mean, there's a zoo there. There's all kind of stuff there that's out of control. All right. All kind of little hiding spots. So it's pretty cool. All right, ladies and gentlemen, let's see. We're going to keep going. So yeah, the big eyes was in the house. NVIDIA is dropping like a waterfall. Time to buy, ladies and gentlemen. It was 113 the other day. This is something great, ladies and gentlemen. I love it. I love it. I really love it because this is great. It went 10-1 and it went down to what, $121. And my usual 42 or 48 to 72 hour rule, wait and see what happened. It dipped just a little, but not enough to make any. It went down to 118, I think it was, which was kind of cool, but it only was for like 5 minutes and then it bounced back up. So it wasn't like one of those things that throughout the day it finished at 118. So then you could buy lower. Who knew that the party would be over and dropped to 113? I don't even know what it dropped to right now. That's crazy. But if it's under 113, in fact, it doesn't even matter. Let's just go see what it is. So what's the stock price right now? It's 111 right now. Can you believe this? Look at this. This is opportunity that knocks, ladies and gentlemen. All right. That is great. Time is right. Dollar cost average down, ladies and gentlemen. Oh my God. Can you believe this? And can you believe this? They're trying to make you rich out here with the CMG. That's Chipotle, with NVIDIA, with TSMC. Come on, ladies and gentlemen. AMD. Okay, get your pen, pads, and papers when you come in this house, ladies and gentlemen. This is the SSN Nation. We try to help people. We have the chat room open to everybody on every live stream, except on Wednesday nights. That live stream, the chat room on YouTube is closed. The only way you can be in the chat room on Wednesday nights is if you're a member of the channel with these icons next to your name. So, time to buy. Victor Marrero, he chimes in. He says, Joe Nay agree. Buy NVIDIA before August 28th. They're having the earnings announcement then. This will make it soar. I had 200 shares and sold 100 over option trading. The other 100 I am holding hard. There we go, Victor Marrero. He's on it. He's giving you the keys, ladies and gentlemen. Some of you need to study. Let's just put it plain and simple. You always have to study to improve. You want to know why as you get older, it gets harder? It's because there's always something new that comes out. And you, as you get older, are setting your ways. Unless you are a person that's a consummate explorer trying to get information, you will not be able to adapt for the bull run. You'll be in the debt trap because you're going to go, well, I make $100,000 a year. And even though I live kind of comfortably, you're not thinking ahead. You're not thinking that what happens when prices go up 30, 40% more. So let's just keep it real. Prices go up 30, 40% more. What happens when you have to pay back the tax? What I mean by pay back, you make 100,000. Just because what taxes you pay this year may not be the taxes you're going to pay 3 or 4 years from now. In fact, I can already guarantee you it will not be. Somebody has to pay back all the debt relief, all the bankruptcies, all of our national debt. How's that going to be paid back? They're going to have to tax you. And that stands for cities, states as well. So don't think you're going to be getting off the hook. One way or another, you're going to be paying more. Your insurance, because you're locked. Remember, you want to be big time. That means you're going to have insurance, whether it's your health, whether it's your house, you're going to have insurance. So you can't get out of it. If you don't own real estate, then that means you're a renter. That means they can charge you whatever you want. So therefore, you're trapped again. Luckily, though, some of these companies who now have to sell their properties because the Federal Reserve didn't reduce the interest rate fast enough for them, and the home prices didn't increase fast enough for them. But you know what happened over the last 2 years? Insurance and property taxes, HOAs, went through the roof. So now their little 10% or 5% margins that they were working on got obliterated because now they owe tens of thousands of dollars per more annually. So they thought they were going to be on the bull run. They were just 2.5 years too soon. But I appreciate what they did because now there's going to be more homes on the market for sale. more apartment complexes, more ways for you to build wealth, start a business, lots of ways. All right, Victor Marrero, he's exactly right about this. Mark August on your calendar. First of all, the way things are going, 111, and there's been some YouTubers that I get a kick out of that have made declarations, and I get a kick out of it because they are on the Nvidia bandwagon, right? Just like you should be. But they're on the Nvidia bandwagon because it went up so dramatically from 1,000 a share to 1,100 to 1,200. It was dramatic. And then when they did the 10-to-1 split, it went to 121, and it naturally, with the momentum, it went up to 125, 127, 128. But then some very, very smart people were like, what am I doing? I bought in at $600 a share. I've doubled my money, and I've got a little more than that, another 10 to 15% on top. I think it's time I sell. I mean, what are we doing here? 200% on your money and you ain't selling? So what do people do? A large percentage of people said, I'm selling. So now when you go to 125, go to 121, go to one sudden, what should you be doing? What are you waiting for? You should have sold already. Why are you not taking your 200% and letting it drop to 100? And you're sitting, what are you doing? All right. So think about this. Whoever bought at 128, 20% drop already. What are you waiting for? You should have sold at 125, 126. What are you being greedy for? You can't break the bank. Should have taken that profit and went home and said, if it drops down to 111 or something, let me buy back in. As Victor Marrero is saying now, he's going to buy back in. Hopefully, I got some things that I put in the works. We got to sell. I actually had to look. Let me just tell you guys something. I got to be a little transparent. I just now have to sell some things. All right. I have to sell some things. Why? Because I want to put myself in position for the bull run. All right. We had to get rid of some assets. It's in escrow. We'll see what happens over the next 3 weeks, but it's going to be a pretty big thing. So I'm taking a lot of money, and I will be buying a lot more NVIDIA. And yes, it will be before August 28th, just so you guys know. And I'll be adding AMD, just so you know, TSMC, Apple, FANG stocks separately, and also ETF wise, just so you guys know, because I'm going to go for the free ride. I know that who controls the trillions of dollars, and they can get, if you own $50 trillion, right, in assets, you don't think I can't go down to the banking guys and say, hey man, give me interest only for 15 years and give me $1 trillion? You don't think that I'm not going to be able to roll down to my nearest brokerage account and be like 100,000 on this, 500,000 on that, 1 million on this, 2 million on that, 20 million on this, 20 million on that? It's going to be the top dogs. It's going to be the ones everybody knows, the Apples, the Microsofts, the Teslas. It's going to be on those type of companies. So therefore, why I can't invest, but that's going to increase the price of their stocks. So why wouldn't I want that free ride? What are you waiting for out here? This is like a perfect setup for the ordinary citizen. And after it goes, it's bye-bye. You had the same opportunity from 2010, 2012, again in 2021. But this may be the last one unless a pandemic comes. And there are pandemics every 7 to 11 years, just like a recession. So it's probably going to happen. But put yourself in position, ladies and gentlemen. All right. That's where you have to be. So as he said, August 28th is the deadline for the NVIDIA announcement on earnings. And it's going to be one very, very interesting thing. Now, let's get back. I got sidetracked as I went on the little speech. So once again, I imploring you, get in on the game. All right, here we go. Let's get into that first Fed rate cut because this is coming down right here. The first Fed interest rate cut in years is on the horizon. Here's what homeowners, buyers need to know. 30-year fix. See, this is the debt trap. They're trying to always trap you in your money game. What I keep saying is, tell me, ladies and gentlemen, why are you look, let me just put it a different way. If you're going out here to buy a home, what is the difference between a home and getting a duplex? Well, if you don't know the difference, that is significant because buying a home generally means somebody's going to have to pay for that. It's in your name, so I assume you are going to pay for it. If you buy a duplex, it's in your name, but you rent out the other side. Now somebody else is going to help you pay for your mortgage, or that other side might pay for that mortgage. So now that frees up your money. That is the whole key here. You need money to be freed up so you can make moves, because you're not just going to be able to sit there and go, okay, I made an extra $30,000 this year and my job made me an extra $50,000. We're good. That ship has sailed. You're not going to be good with 80 G's annually. In fact, think about when you're trying, a lot of people rent who's watching this. Think about this right now. You have to make 80 some G's in order to live in a $2,000 one-bedroom apartment. Or in some cities, a $2,000 studio that's 400 square feet. Let's get real out here. Come on. This is getting ridiculous. You have to start thinking about economics. But the Fed is going to help you. Not because they're trying. It's because they're trying to help their rich friends. All right? The first Fed rate cut is becoming more certain. What are we talking about here? Of course it's coming. You guys did your job. You didn't increase the interest rate like you should have for almost 9 months to a year. So you know you're going to claim 2.9% or whatever it's going to be. And then you're going to, reduce the rates. You know what you're doing. And rates are expected to decline throughout the year. Yeah, we know it's September and December. That's more than likely what's going to happen. So it'll reduce it 0.5, which will reduce the mortgage under 6, or if you have better, credit rating, you'll probably be a 1 point below this, 5 point something. And trust me, 5.7 is a lot different than 6.7 to 7% when it comes to doing mortgages. All right. So just keep this in mind. And then sometime in January, February, or March, they're going to reduce it again. So you could be down to 5.25 or something like that by springtime. Let's get real. All right. So that's how this is all going to start. So here we go. Here's what it may mean. I'll even go down these guys. All right. Let's see what they got. Even small cuts in rates could make meaningful difference in what a home buyer will pay. Yeah, just what I was market to buy a home have been eagerly waiting for central bank to cut rates. The Fed meeting this week, but experts say it seems more likely the first rate cut will come in September. That's right, T-minus 45 days. That would be the first rate cut since 2020. Damn. Are you kidding me right now? Wow. While there is a less than upcoming Federal Open Market meeting, measure of futures market price. Yeah, it's already built in, man. Along with further cuts in 2025, we know what's going to happen. And look, would bring the Fed's benchmark Fed rates. Look at this right here, ladies and gentlemen. Oh man, it's not scrolling down. Damn. I'm on the wrong one. No wonder you guys probably couldn't even see this. Here's where I'm at. I was on the wrong screen. But nonetheless, I was here. 4% by the end of next year. If this is their target, they're going to meet this. Do you not understand? You have less than a year to make real estate moves. And if you're going to do multifamily or you're going to do commercial, then you always have moves to make. It's just that at a lower interest rate, everybody can get in on the game. So now what are you going to do? While mortgage rates are fixed and mostly tied to treasury yields, that's cute. Home loans have already started to come down. Exactly, because they know what the feds are going to do. Rate cuts are already priced into the market. That is correct. That is why the stock market has been rising over the last 6-7 months, because they kept saying we're going to cut rates this year. I believe them because their friends are telling them, hurry up already. Here we go. Average 30-year fixed rate mortgage in the U.S. Look at this. Look at this. 2019, 2021, 2.66. And now everybody wonders why home prices went up 20% in 2020 and 2021 each year. 40% in 2 years. Here's why. 3.11. That's all they have to get down to. And if they get around this number, this will spur a buying frenzy. And the buying frenzy is going to start right here at 5. They're going to be at 5, I think, in 8 months from now. That's where when they go 4.75, the buying frenzy's already started. It's going to start soon as they start reducing it. Because that brings in because you have to understand. I'm going to stay with the real estate here for a second. I'm going to stay here with the real estate. Why? Because we're going to make it easy for you. Think about the average medium home prices of $442,000. And you say, oh, I'm going to buy it 5.5% interest rate. Some people would say, hey, why are you doing that? Because your payment's going to be $2,700 per month. Well, that's not the part that's going to be very interesting. The very interesting part's going to be the person that bought that home for $442, interest rates keep going down, their equity is going to rise. So they bought at this price. The price of the house goes to, let's just say we had a 20% increase over the last 6 to 8 months, 9 months, and it goes up 20%, 80 some thousand. Now all of a sudden the house is worth like $530. The smart person, after owning for a year, is going to turn around and go, hey, man, the interest rate's down to 4%. But all I want is just to refi my 442. I want my payments to be $2,000 per month. That's what's going to happen. So that's why there's going to be a spur going forth, because the interest rates are not at 8% like they should be. So it's going to jump off as soon as they say rate reduction. As soon as the mortgage guys go, hey, it's 6.1, 6.2, 5.75. That's what's going to happen over the next 8-9 months. So that's going to spur buyers. So that also means there'll be demand, which means that 442 house will start going to 460. Not a big jump, but a little jump. But a big jump's going to happen in 2025. So that's what we're talking about here, ladies and gentlemen. This is what investors do. You have to know and think ahead of the crowd. Don't play dumb. You have to understand what's happening. To be in the money and when it makes sense to refi. Oh, wait, they're talking about this already. There are people that originated when mortgages peaked at 8% in the fall of last year have said, for these buyers, there's some opportunity there. This is exactly what I was talking about, but this works the same way for everybody that bought at 8%, 7.7. They're sitting there salivating because when their house spikes up $30,000, $40,000, $50,000, $60,000, they don't care about the price increase. They just care that they're going to be able to refi, which is what they're talking about. To be in the money or when it makes sense to refinance, homeowners need to see a notable drop in mortgage rates in order to benefit, experts say. The prevailing rate should be at least 50 basis points below your current rate. And this is why I said 8-9 months from now, there'll be 1 point, there'll be 100 basis points. That's basically 1%. This is 50% right here, or 5%. So I shouldn't say it's 0.5% based on the Federal Reserve. So if we're at 6.78 and they go 0.5, that would be 6.28, just to give you an idea. All right. So we know this is going to happen. It's going to happen. This is going to happen actually before the end of the year. What are we talking about here? Definitely by springtime, it's probably going to be more than 50 basis points. All right, 1/100th of a percentage point. All right, so they explain it. Sorry, I keep getting ahead of these guys. All right, while that can be a good strategy, it's not a hard and fast rule, say Jacob at Lending Tree. What are you talking about? If I got a 7.5% interest rate and somebody says I'll refi it, Eric, for 5.75, come on, let's get real. On $500,000, you best believe, yeah, I think I want to pay $750 or $800 or $900 less per month. Let's get real. All right, come on. And then when they go down to 4%, I'm going to refi again, as long as my refinance clause says I can do it a year later or less, a year later at least. Okay, the savings has to outweigh your upfront cost. And again, in case you're new here, we give you tips. First of all, if you're going to refi, you only refi no points, no points, no points. Okay, first of all, let me set this up. There's going to be people out here who's going to get a new loan, right? First of all, you need to get a new loan. If you're buying, if you've bought, well, it's too late if you've already bought, but if you're trying to buy right now, make sure your loan says no new points if you refi. All right? Because these points could be 1-2%. You want to, so every savings you get, you're going to have to come out of pocket. You don't want to come out of pocket $5, $10, $15, $20,000, do you? That defeats your whole purpose. And then getting some more points on the refi. So you're sitting there saying, well, I saved my payments are down $1,000, but I just gave up 30 grand because I didn't have any clauses in my contract that the wealthy don't teach people or talk about. You need to negotiate your mortgage contracts. When you get a mortgage, when you refi, your mortgage is critical. Make sure they get no points when you sell. Make sure you get no points if you refi with the same company. Either way, make sure they sign that saying they don't get any points. No penalty for you to sell whenever you like. Because sometimes they say, we get a point if you sell within 5 years. There's all kind of stuff they put in contracts now. But now you know, because you're here in the SSN Nation, that you can negotiate. You can say, you know what? I'll go see somebody else because I don't want to pay points. I don't want to pay points. I took the risk. You didn't take the risk. I'm paying you. This is what you're getting. When I refi or when I sell this, I'm not giving you any additional points. You already took a point up front and you're getting the interest. I think that's enough. And if I sell, I don't want any penalties whatsoever. And I call points penalties, just to be clear. So these are the type of things that you have to think about out here. This ain't just simple and easy. A lot of people don't think like this. They just go, oh, I'm getting a loan. And then you're looking, oh, I got the loan. I got the loan. Meanwhile, they put in these points, these clauses inside that you're not paying no attention to. So that's your first thing. Going in on any real estate deal or any business deal, it's your contract matters. All right, just keep that in mind. Second thing, after we get past the points, now the same rule applies on the refi. The refi dudes are going to say, I'm refining this for you, and it's going to, I need 1.5 points or 1 percentage point or half a point. I'm like, hell no. I'm going with the company that's not going to charge me for giving me a loan that I'm going to have to pay the interest for. Unless you're going to give me a 0% interest loan, then I don't know why you're trying to charge me any money then. This is crazy. I know you might be doing the work. I know you might be an intermediary. Well, you better get that kickback that they're going to get you. Oh, when you do loans, the company that does the loans, I'll put myself, Eric Bird Company, and you come to me because I do mortgage lending or refining, and I say, hey, you're gonna get a 5.75% loan. I direct you to this loan company. That loan company gives me points. Okay, they pay me. All right, I'm just saying. So keep that in mind. These guys are getting paid already for getting the loan. All right. So again, you do have a little leverage. Just go say, I'm just going to look around. I'll see somebody else if they're going to give me no points. If I refi or if I sell the house, I don't want no points. So that way you never have to worry. All right. Keep this in mind. This is worth thousands of dollars to you that you can keep in your pockets and win even better. All right, let's go. Victor Marrero, in case I missed it, isn't just buying, it's the refinance rush for those that bought in the last 2 years at higher interest rates. Watch and negotiate your closing costs. Exactly. That's exactly right. We should have a guest from DR to give us an overview of closing costs and process for our properties. I have no clue what those are. I know it's a lot different than that of the USA. Yeah, Victor Marrero, I'm glad you brought that up. That brings into mind our December 2nd, 3rd, and 4th SSN Lifestyle Punta Cana Investors Forum. This is exactly why you should come, because this is what we talk about. The banker was there last time, but we were at Banco Lopez de Haro. One of their officers came in to talk to us, but that was in May. Now Scotiabank has a 70% loan to value, which we don't even know nothing about that, because when I was there in May, Scotiabank was talking like, yeah, 8.5% loan if you have a USD account, but that's only for 1 year. It's going to be fixed. And they gave me some other stuff. All of a sudden, in the last 2 months, I don't know where this 70% loan to value thing came from. Now they have it. That means things are going to change when interest rates come down, right? So, first of all, closing costs and process. Closing costs. There is let me think. How can I describe this? Oh, Victor Marrero, you can't have comfort tour, I don't think, because you guys don't have, well, okay. First of all, let's just say no comfort tour. 3% transfer fee, first of all. All right. That's the first thing. Second thing, closing cost depends on who your lawyer was or is. So if you would have had Johan Confidante, you would have paid him X amount of dollars. That handled the closing costs, that handled the negotiations on your incoming and outgoing. That handled everything. All right, unless he changed his contracts. Or you have other options where you had just the lawyer just handled up front. Now you're going to have to find another lawyer on the backside. So the closing cost is going to be based on what your attorney charges you. And if you have to pay that 3%, and if you have to pay 1% over $180,000, if you bought a property over $180,000, that would be your cost. Whatever the lawyer charges you, whatever. Now, the bank, I don't know if there are points. Banco de Lopez Haro, they have points as well on their contracts, on their loans. And it was like 1%, I think. So again, if you owe 100,000, 1%, 1,000, 80,000, $800. I mean, it's not really outrageous, but it is what it is. So the process, you have to go through a lawyer. Highly advised. And they handle it. That's the closing agents in the DR right now. I so wish that Chicago Title or Fidelity, whoever, I so wish these guys would actually put themselves in the position, but I know why they don't. It's because the titles aren't clear, like in America. Like, there's not this lineage that you have, like starting, for the last 100 years where there's microfilm and you have documentation, because in America, you can't just write on a piece of paper, I sold the land to you and signed it and acted like that transferred title. You can't do that. So you would have had to go down to the county recorder's office and record it. So then there's a transfer of some sort and closing at the same time. That's why in the DR, nobody wants to take that challenge, because for who knows, hundreds of years, you could transfer title just based on, here's a piece of paper, We actually we went down to the courthouse and laid it down, but they didn't officially transfer title. And now we got to go back where people are dead. I don't know their rules. So that's why if you're buying property that already exists, you need to definitely make sure in the DR that the title right now is a blue title, free and clear. That's the one person owns it, and it's already been vetted. If it's a red title or anything else, that is not the title you need. That means that's a different title. Just so everybody knows, all right, if you're messing around the DR. Because I'm not too happy with the DR right now. I got to admit. So when it comes to loss situations that you can't control, I highly suggest you have attorneys. And when it comes to money that's going to be given to you from somebody else, don't rely on it. That's all I'm going to say right now. One of these days, I'm about to go off on some people. All right. We should have a guest on. Yes. In fact, I do like that idea. I'm going to see if I can get somebody on. In fact, let me think. I had somebody that was going to come on before we went to DR in May. So yeah, that's a good idea, man. I like it. I like it. I like it. I like it. All right. That's not for me. All right. Let's go. All right. I am with Comfortour. Victor Marrero, I gotta say something. Here's the weird part. Is there some part of Galaxy that is considered a condo hotel? All right. So the closing is still based on the property value, correct? Yes. Yes. So, well, okay. Okay. If you have Comfortour, they changed the rules. So on Comfortour, no matter what you buy the property for, you have up to 15 years, as long as the project has Comfortour. It's no longer based on the 170,000 that it used to be, and then anything over that you pay the difference. If you have Comfortour, it's up to 15 years. Now, as we know, Victor Marrero knows, there may be some people watching that don't know, Comfortour used to be Yoel Nolasco in the house. The Comfortour, where was I going with this? It used to be, well, I don't even know if it was a thing, but the Comfortour, you need to know now when the project gets Comfortour. They have a new rule that let's put it this way. There's a lot of people right now who bought property in 2020 in the DR. It's still not built. That project had Comfortour. The Comfortour clock started. You don't have 15 years anymore. Soon as 2025 comes, you burnt off 5 years, or shall I say the developer burnt off 5 years. You now have 10 years of Comfortour, which means, yes, you have 10 years of no property tax that's going to be due. No matter if you bought it for 200,000, 300, or 400 or 500,000, it does not matter. It covers your Comfortour now. All right. So that is the new rule. The other new rule has this thing. This is why I asked about the Comfortour, which I guess you get the grandfather in. So I don't know how this is all working, because now you have to have a condo hotel, or you have to have a hotel to have Comfortour. It's for tourism. So you got to have a condo hotel. So that is why I'm very curious how they're going to do that out at, well, they have Comfortour out at Conorock. Because I was like, well, where's the hotel? Are they counting the Hard Rock Hotel as the hotel when in fact you don't control it? Very interesting. So I don't know if those properties could qualify now for Comfortour. So it's very, very interesting how they're doing it. But this also explains the rise in condo hotels that's available. I just saw a video for Reserva, was it Reserva Real? Speaking of 2019 projects that aren't done, Reserva Real, Noval property, 2019, they said their project is condo hotel. I was like, so they're not so in other words, Palace Suites, the Oasis Lake, At Vista Cana, the place called Chuckham, those are condo hotels. At Larimar, if and when they build Paradise Towers 2, that is supposedly going to be a condo hotel. And just so everybody understands what a condo hotel means, I am not, well, let's put it this way, personally, from an investor standpoint, I'm not keen on condo hotels. But I understand, but I'm not keen on that. The reason why is because usually a condo hotel has rules on how long you can stay there. And that also means that the place is more built for a hotel type of environment. So what do I mean by this? Usually you won't have like walk-in closets. You won't have that home type feeling. Timeshares, on the other hand, they're built for you to have a 1-bedroom, 2-bedroom, and they could be 1,000, 1,200, 1,500 square feet, like a condo. Condo hotels are built for short-term rentals. So there won't be like a closet when you open your front door to put things in, like a vacuum machine or anything like that. They're just going to have like one closet that has your washer and dryer, and then throw beside it your mops, your buckets, your stuff that you clean floors and showers and tubs with. And then there'll be these small bedroom closets. Some have walk-in closets, yes, but most, when you have condo hotels, they're not going to have not going to live there ever, because usually they have rules against you staying there a certain amount of. You're not going to stay there past 60 days or 30 days, because this is a condo hotel. We're renting it out, and now you're going to be at the mercy of whoever the management company is. And that's one place you're going to be at mercy of. And second, you're going to be mercy of who controls the homeowners association. Because remember, who controls the homeowners association may control who can manage the place sometimes. So just keep these things in mind. So now you have signed into condo hotels, and you better know if they're charging you 25%, 30%, 35%, what the rules are on them being able to increase the management fee or increase anything, because it's going to come out of your pocket and go into their pocket. Let me get back into this. Yep. Let's see. Victor Morrell says, oh, damn, you did mention that before. The rule doesn't make any sense. Confertor should trigger once the title transfers to you. I know, man. I know. But the new changes are, it starts whenever the confertor is granted, the date it's granted. So you probably should talk with your guys at Galaxy and see what the deal is with their confertor. I don't know. That's a question I didn't even think to ask. Does this mean that everybody who had confertor from 2019, 2020, 2021, or whatever, does that mean they're on the old program, or does this mean they're on the new program? Because if they're on the new program, people that own, like at Reserva Real, you lost 6 years. You're going to lose 6 years. People that, like Victor Morrell, in fact, he's going to lose like 6 or 7 years. People like, I'm trying to think of all these, man, there's a ton of places that has a 4 or 5 year time lapse that said they had confertor, like in Panorama Garden, Panorama Park, Panorama Lake. Well, Panorama Lake, people started living there. But Panorama Park, Panorama Garden, those places were supposed to be built. The Wave, those were supposed to be Unique. All these places were supposed to be built like 2022, 2023. I think most in 2022. So all those places, under confertor new rules, you're going to lose 2 years so far and counting, 3 years for sure. So you're going to be at 12 years of confertor if they're going by the new rules. So, yeah, that's messed up. Comforter should trigger. I agree. The construction time is wasted. Who came up with that bright idea? Hey, man, the government. The government. Who else? Because they realize, look, I keep trying to tell you, man, they put you in a blender. The government realized some of these projects weren't being built in 2 years. They started realizing, wait a minute, this is 5 years, 6 years, 7 years. Why are we going to wait around and let these guys first of all, we're not getting any tax for the 7 years. Now we're not getting taxed for another 15. Hell no. Hell to the no. So that is why I think that's why they did it. All right. Let me know what you guys are thinking, because Victor Marrero and everybody else is like, boom, what the frick's going on? Yeah, I know it was boom like that in May when we're sitting there at the lawyer's office, at Glennie's office, and she's telling us this. I'm like, what? What are you saying? We were like, wait, these projects are 4 and 5 years late that said they had Comfortour. That means they only have 11, 10, 9 years of Comfortour, not 15. She's like, that's what it means. I was like, oh my God. I was like, this is crazy. So that's why we had a little tiff with somebody on Instagram this girl on Instagram kept telling people, oh, you got 15 years Comfortour that you don't have to pay tax and the property costs $350,000. I was like, what is she talking about? So I went and told her I had to go and apologize, because I was sitting there saying, no, you can't do that. I was arguing with her. I said, no, you got to pay over the difference, 170, whatever. I'm like, and then in May, Glennie says, no, it's changed. You can't. It starts whenever they get it, whenever they officially get it. That's the day. That's when the clock starts ticking. So the developer has 15 years starting then to give to their customer. And the same rule applies that if you resell it, the Comfortour is, you can't pass it on. If you resell it as an individual. If you resell property in the DR under Comfortour, you either resell it as an individual and no Comfortour, or you have the property put into a business name. And this is where people start doing that holding company stuff. You don't need to, because if your plan is to sell that property and still kind of get value because you have the Comfortour. Remember, Comfortour is a value. So if you have a property that's 200 and let's just say, well, the way things are going, a 2-bedroom condo that you can sell for $300,000 that you bought for $130,000. So now that person's buying for $250,000, right? But because he bought it in the business name, the business and the government considers what you originally bought it for, the $150,000. So not only do they still get to keep the Comfortour, they still have the amount of years that are left on the Comfortour, even though they bought your business for $250,000. They still get Comfortour, and they still get the value of the home built in. So that is a way to kind of help, because now let's go another route, another sales route. I have a property in the same neighborhood. Me and another guy he's selling his property for $225,000. We have the same 3-bedroom, 3.5 bath, 2,000 square foot villa. He's selling his for $225,000. I pipe up and put mine on the market for $250,000. The realtors and everybody comes to me and says, why are you putting this up for $250,000? Nobody's going to pay $250,000. I say, sure they are. Because my property has Comfortour for another 10 years. And it's in my business name. He doesn't have to pay $2,500 a year for the next 10 years. So yeah, I want a premium. Because his friend over there, he's going to have to pay $2,250 at a minimum right now. And we all know what's going to end up happening. They're going to raise the property taxes, right? You know that's going to happen. They just have no reason to yet. But as soon as they have enough homes, they're going to raise it to maybe 1.2 or 5 or something, right? Come on. So, because they're going to have to build infrastructure. Let's get real. So that person, you're going to sit there and have that argument. You're going to say, well, mine's worth more because he has no taxes for the next 10 years, 12 years. So go buy his for 225. Take your risk that you're only going to pay $2,250 for the whole time for the next 10, 12 years. Take your risk. Meanwhile, you know you don't have no taxes to pay for the next 10 years or 12 years, if that's the case. That's a big deal because just like they're going to tax the Airbnbs, you don't know how much they're going to tax the Airbnbs. You don't know how much property tax is going to be raised over the next 5 to 10 years either. It ain't going to be the same. How do you think they're going to pay for the infrastructure? There's a lot of infrastructure that still needs to be done. 1% in taxes is not going to cut it. Let's just get real. All right. Hopefully everybody understands. So I didn't really want to get into the real estate game tonight, but since we're talking about building wealth, this is the easiest time is now to build wealth. It's coming up. Now that you know the interest rates from the Federal Reserve are going to decrease, you know what you have to do. Buy real estate. Or if you don't want to take that risk, then go buy some dividend stocks that right now you can get 15, 16, 17, 13, 20, 25, 30% return on your money that you put in now. Because once they reduce the interest rates and the stock market starts rising, now what's going to in turn happen? The stock price starts rising. That means you're going to get a lower yield. So I'll give an example. Let's just say the stock is $100. And let's say you're getting 20%. That means you're making $20 for every $100, right? Now, if the stock price goes up to 120 and we're still only getting $20, my yield went down from 20%. All right, because now we're doing 20 divided by 120. That's what $20 dividend is what you receive profit-wise, and your buy price is 120. Now we are under. We have a problem. 20 divided by 120. We're not at 20% anymore, right? It's reduced. So just keep these type of things in mind, all right? Keep that in mind. All right, here we go. Victor Morrell says we're getting jammed up twice. Our properties aren't ready. We're losing rental income. And on top of that, we have to pay the transfer fee at closing. Well, not for if you have Comfort Tour. If you don't have Comfort Tour, you pay the transfer fee. If you do have Comfort Tour, then no transfer fee. So you get out the 3%, Victor Morrell, because you guys have Comfort Tour. So you're not going to have to pay transfer tax or property taxes for the next, well, the way things are going, if Galaxy is done next year, then that means you only have 8 years left. Okay. Too late. Yep. That's it. Pay the transfer fee at closing. I'm about to come off retirement. Too late. No, you ain't going to have to come out, man. You got Comfort Tour, so you're good. Your transfer fee, and you're not going to have to pay any property taxes for 8 years. Mo Better. Welcome to the SSN Nation. Money Making Monday live stream. Another investor's in the house, ladies and gentlemen. And he brings his tagline this evening. What's up, SSN family? We talking about it. Bull run or debt trap yourself. Are you ready to build wealth now, Mo? He's building wealth now, ladies and gentlemen. He has some equities. He's in the real estate game. He's making it happen. And he says, Hulk, smashing the like button, ladies and gentlemen, on the way in. Thank you very much for that, everybody. Smash the like button wherever you are. Smash the follow button wherever you are. Smash the I love you button wherever you are, because the YouTube gods and the social media gods show us no love. One of these days, you know what? I have vengeance in my heart. I'm just going to say it. All right. So this is very funny because I found out, I'm just going to say it. I found out that Facebook, they sent me a message. I couldn't believe what I was reading. They sent me a message saying, we restricted your account over the last few months. I'm like, what? We restricted your account and it's now unrestricted. I'm like, wait, aren't you the same guys that own Instagram? Wait a minute, is my account? I find out your account is restricted. I'm like, who's restricting all of my account? My Snapchat is restricted. I'm like, oh, so this is the new game. I'm like, was there something I'm doing wrong? What the frick? This is funny stuff. Giving out motivational messages, giving out information to help people, and I'm being restricted. Come on, man. This is crazy talk, but we know how America works. There's people in the background that don't want to see you succeed, ladies and gentlemen. I found out there's 4 platforms restricting me. And oh, by the way, Pinterest, man, Pinterest, you guys don't know, but on Pinterest, I had like, the SSN Nation had like 300,000 followers on Pinterest. Pinterest sent me a message. This is over a year ago. I didn't even talk too much about this, but they sent me over a year ago, year and a half ago, probably it was, a message saying, we've taken your account down. And I was like, for what? They sent me something back and you violated something. You violated the something. They gave a list of things I possibly could have violated. And I went down the list and I sent them a message and I said, these things. I post what I'm doing on YouTube and I post motivational messages or things that help people to think about building wealth stuff. I said, so how am I violating anything? It's the same stuff that's on Pinterest. What are you talking about? No answer, no nothing. They canceled the account. Then they said, we can't have SSN Stop Struggling Now. It's taken. All kind of crazy stuff. I forgot to mention that, but that's what's going on in the background, ladies and gentlemen. So when you say, how come you're not out there more? We don't see you, Eric. There are people doing stuff, ladies and gentlemen. Again, this is the life you live when you're one of the most dangerous people on the freaking planet. All right, here we go. Mo Better, very nice to see you, man. Mo Better says they lower the interest rate at least once by September. I think 0.25. I agree. And then I think they'll lower it 2 or 3 more times next year. I think you're in the ballpark with the 0.25 in September. I think 0.25 in December. And I think another 0.25 in this either January, February, or March. So we're going to have a 1% decrease on mortgage rates in 7-8 months to start the bull run, because then they'll bring it down to 5.25, 5%. That's a big change from 6.5, 7%. That's what's going to happen. And the party will have started on the stock market and on real estate market. I agree with that 110. In fact, I would not even be surprised if they threw in a 0.5 to even really get the thing rocking. But I agree, 0.25 is reasonable. Mo Better at Victor, NVIDIA price is looking juicy right now. Exactly. We were just talking about that on the top of this hour, Mo. We were telling people 111 is what it's at right now. And there were people here, not here in our SSN Nation, but on YouTube, spouting, buy NVIDIA when it was 128. Buy NVIDIA when it's 125. Buy NVIDIA when it's 120. Yeah, your dollar cost average is coming down. You're damn right. But they were saying, but I'm going to sell when it hits a certain number. Well, that certain number has come and gone. So did you sell? You should have, damn it. God dang. What are you waiting for? Somebody has 500 shares, 100 shares of NVIDIA, and you buy your dollar cost average, let's just say, is at 105. And it goes up to 128. Or for that matter, let's just say you did it right and you bought it when it was $80 back in the day. So your dollar cost average is really $8. I mean, come on. So what are you doing? Why are you shredding your money from 128 to 120 to 118 to 115 to 111, you should have been sold and collected all that free cash. Why are you taking off 20% of your profit for no reason? Then if you'd have done the right thing and said, I'm going to buy at the 125 number, you'd be sitting here happy because you'd be like, damn, I can buy back in at 111. That's pretty sweet. So remember, ladies and gentlemen, always stay on top of your investments. Just don't do set it and forget it. All right. Let's see what we got. I'm loading up on DRCR this week. Victor Marrero, everybody else, I'm going to bring this up because DRCR, let's see, we looked at 25 to 28 cents before. Even that dipped to 21. That dipped to, what was that? Yeah, that's zero. That's weird. Oh, here we go. Let's go over the last 5. Yeah, there was a dip that one day, but it doesn't matter. 21 cents. That's a dollar cost average because it was up to 25. Let's go look at this. See, it was up here, 29, and now it's falling. Falling back down 20 cents, 20 cents, 21, 21. Why? We don't know. But look, it is what it is. Chart of the day. Failed breakout of S&P E-mini futures 4 hours. Stock market news today. S&P inch higher to kick off huge week. All right. Fair enough. There it is. Hold on a second. I guess I blew it. Yep. Sounds like a good time to load up. All right. You know what this means. Let me go throw down something real quick. Let's do it this way.
Come on.
All right, ladies and gentlemen, just giving you some DRCR stock that you might want to check out. In fact, you know what? Why don't we give you some other things that you don't have to worry about? Set it and forget it. Dividend investing. Let's get. You guys know I'm a big fan of real estate investment trust at this price points because you need to get in now before the interest rates go down. We got ORC, ARR. I can't even. This, PSEC. P as in Paul, S as in Sam, E as in Eric, C as in Charles. Just for starters, AGNC. 2 TWO. That's 2 Harbors. All right. The reason why, if they can give out dividends with these high interest rates, imagine that the return on the dividends they're giving now, imagine buying in now and holding that return, that dividend. Because what you really want to do is you want to have that 14, 15, 16% return and let that reinvest itself without you having to pay more money because the price of the stock is going to rise. So keep that in mind. All right. It will rise because these interest rates, when they come down, these guys are going to go out here and refi and lower their interest rate. They're going to do it. So if you want to go to the DR, join us December 2nd, 3rd, and 4th. Go over to SSN Lifestyle. It's $199. There's only 3 seats left at the $199. After that, it goes up. The 6th person pays more, jumps up $50. It costs in the DR nowadays. I'm not going to have friends by the time December 2nd, 3rd, and 4th rolls around in the DR. All right? We have financial problems with them. I do. Let's put it this way. I have other business deals in the background, and I don't get too happy when people don't want to pay me my money. All right. So here we go. We'll talk about that another day, but they don't get any roasting yet because I got to go see them in person first. Paul Castillo, welcome to the SSN Nation Money Making Monday live stream with that icon next to his name, which I humbly appreciate. And he's an investor in the house, ladies and gentlemen. Good evening, SSN family. Good evening to you, man. Hopefully you've been doing great. Hopefully you saw that information on the update on the Larimar. I don't know about the updates on Cruise. All I know is Cruise sent some pictures out where they were laying down some sort of foundation, at least to start. Will they be done in a year? Hell no. Their first phase will not be done in a year. I don't really care. Let's just call it what it is. Not possible. All right. Evelyn Abreu, welcome to the SSN Nation Money Making Monday live stream with the icon next to your name. I humbly appreciate that. And speaking of great DR individuals, she's here. She's in the house. Good evening, SSN fam. Good evening to you. Nice to see you. Nice to see another lawyer in the house. Speaking of lawyers, ladies and gentlemen, the lawyer family's in the house. All right, Mo Better. Not only does Banco Lopez de Haro have points, exactly, but I believe they can go increase up to a max of 1% each month. You're damn right. He's right. They got adjustable loans at Banco Lopez de Haro that are outrageous. Again, it's outrageous. Adjustable loans. So not only do you get to pay 8.5% fixed for 1 year, but you can go over, and after that year, you could have a 13, 12, 11.5% loan, and it's adjustable. How crazy is that, man? Who would sign up for that? So thank goodness Scotiabank and Banco Popular started sounding a little coherent, where we got some fixed rates for more than a few years, all right? And not in double digits as well. So in the next year or two, I expect their interest rates to reduce as well. In fact, I expect their banking to change slightly to get more customers. And I'm going to tell you another thing. There's something else going on. Paul Castillo, what's the closing cost fees like in DR when you close on your property? Is it similar to USA closing cost? No. Oh, yeah, it is. You start talking about 1%. If that's what you're talking about, yeah, it's similar. All right. So depends on, well, most lawyers do the 1% thing. Johan Confidante, the Abreu family, Glenny from Hachi Cuevas and Associates. You know, we talked to them. You guys know. So I'll put in, let me go Glenny. Oh, and let them know you're from SSN Nation. You know this. You know this, right? You guys know the, let me do it this way. Let me see if I have it. Here we go. This is WhatsApp, and join our WhatsApp group. Let me put the link down below in the chat room as well. But right now, I'm just going to put Glenny's number. Let her know you're from SSN Nation. And then we will go with Johan. Put in Johan's number. Let him know you're from SSN Nation. All right. And no, you can't put in anything in the chat room. Only I can put in links. So sorry if anybody's trying to put in links. Okay. Can't be done. Now, where was I going to go? Mo was talking about Banco de Lopez de Haro. Yeah, it's atrocious. I don't even know how somebody could bank with them and get a loan. What they got going on is outrageous. But some other guys are making moves. Banco Popular and Scotiabank. They came up with some LTVs. I don't know if they're true loan to values. I don't know if that is real. We have some people checking on it, and we'll be checking on it over the next month or two. But right now, I had a little problem with my Banco Lopez de Haro, because on my Banco Lopez de Haro, just so everybody knows, if you have them as a bank account, you can have a USD and a peso account. When you use your debit, they use your peso account. They don't use your USD account. All right, just letting you guys know for your debit card, because I was using my debit. Well, I never used it, but I tried to use it, testing if it worked, and it didn't work. I was like, what's going on? I know I have money over there. So then I found out. So I tried to do like I didn't keep no more than 100, 150 in pesos. So I tried to do something like $200. Okay. Didn't work. I was like, wait, I have more than that in my USD. What's going on? So I found out they were trying to take it off my peso account. So when I went in and tested $10, of course it worked because I have more than $10 in my peso account. So I thought my USD account was active. It wasn't. And they can't do it separate. So Scotiabank, my USD account is my debit card account. Makes it easier for me anyhow. I don't know if it makes it easier for them. But just saying, make sure when you go to a bank, December 2nd, 3rd, and 4th, we hook you up with banks. All right? We pre-approve you. We get you pre-approved. So when you show up, all you have to do is roll to the bank and give them your money and wet signature some stuff. You'll be in there an hour at least. Still got to do wet signatures over there. And in some instances, you'll have your debit card right away, like at Scotiabank, Santa Cruz, I think, too. So, and a few others. Ban Reservists, I don't even know what's going on. I'm supposed to have an account there. They're not even contacting me. Paul Castillo, Eric, what's the closing cost fees? Like, yeah, they're like 1%. All right. And if they don't give you 1% these days, there's a reason. Damn thing. They're like everybody else. A lot of closings, prices go up. A little bit less of closings, prices go down, I guess. I don't know. Market. Victor Marrero at Mo Better. Yes, sir. I've been buying NVIDIA for months. I had 200 shares 3 weeks ago, sold 100 of them, making a ton, and using the other 100 in option trading for weekly income. There we go. He's telling the playbook, ladies and gentlemen. That's how we do it up in here. You want to be wealthy? Here's how. E. White, welcome to the SSN Nation Money Making Monday live stream with the icon next to his name, which I humbly appreciate. That's right. The man is here. Another emerging millionaire is in the house with the number of properties that he bought dirt cheap. And that dirt cheap property is going to turn into an empire. He's got enough. Way to go. Good evening, SSN family. They're trying to stifle the information, Eric. Exactly, man. I know that. Hey, I've been on America's government list for a long, long time. 35, 40 years, ladies and gentlemen. Don't let this fool you. So that's why all of a sudden they started admitting it, but I didn't realize it in 2018, 2019, 2020, 2021 until people kept asking, hey, how come you don't have more views? And I was like, whatever. And then when I started getting these things from Pinterest, then I found out about Facebook and all the Facebook groups and all that. It's always been stifled. I never knew it. Then I found out about the Threads, because Threads is also Facebook, Instagram, Threads. And I'm like, these guys have been doing this stuff the whole time. Okay. Still got we still have 1,000 videos though. They haven't taken those down yet. One of these days it may happen. So make sure you guys watch some videos. All right. Yeah. That's how they got to do it, man. Because we out here, we don't sell courses. We're not out here taking $5,000 from you for a course. See, this is the thing that burns me up about this. These guys out here doing the 5,000 courses, $10,000, the mentorships and all this crap. Do you guys not understand? Here in the SSN Nation, you can go to YieldMax ETFs. You can buy one of those for $5,000, $10,000, and you could have $1,000 a month coming in. I mean, this is what burns me up about this. This just kills me. So, and in some cases, if you take some other courses with these guys charging people 20, 30 grand, and these people are paying it, they're giving up 2, 3 grand a month that they could be making. It's ridiculous. Based on dividend stocks, based on 15, 20, 25% returns that you can get right now. This may not hold indefinitely. It's not going to hold once prices of the stock go up. Your return on investment goes down. So that's why you have to buy now. Just like in the Dominican Republic, when we start talking about real estate, you can't afford to wait and buy something at 250, 300 G's. You can do it if you want, But all I'm saying is you have no way to guarantee yourself a decent return. 6% return, then you might as well just invest in ET, Energy Transfer, and get your 8% return right now. And it's liquid. It's a dividend of 8% right now, 8.25. So why are you caring about 6 or 7 or 8% interest when you got to go through the whole, I'm going to buy something. Now I got to take the risk on, can I rent it enough to get this 8% return or 6% return? Why are you wasting your money? I can't recommend that. And there is no way you're going to make me believe that you're going to know what the Airbnb prices or short-term rental prices or long-term rental prices are going to be in the DR next year, let alone 2 years from now, when they've added 2 or 3 or 5 or 10,000 more units on the market and they've added some more condo hotels. I mean, I don't know. So that's a high risk maneuver. So if you want to buy something for 250,000 or more, that's on you. But I suggest you try to stay in the hundreds of thousands or less if you can. Because again, I was having this conversation in the Punta Cana group earlier. You don't know what the taxes are going to be for short-term rentals in the Dominican Republic. Maybe Evelyn might know since she's here. Maybe she might know. She's got info. But I don't know what it is. Because if they do something really crazy, and I don't just mean, I'll put it this way, for all those people that think 6 or 7 or 5% is good for an ROI, I'm going to put it to you another way. If the federal government of DR turns around and says 5% a year taxes, you just erase 5% on your, wait, are they going to take 5% on revenue or 5% on profits? That's another thing. So all I'm saying, so now you see why you definitely gonna, and if they do something unthinkable, pulling a Nevada where you're going to be paying 10 or 11% in tax, that means your customer has to pay that 10 or 11% more. You're going to have to charge it. So are you going to, again, this is the same thing with the tariff. So think about something right now. We can stay in Los Corrales for $100 per night, no problem, right? Or less. So the people who bought their condos 4 years ago, 3 years ago, 2 years ago for 79 to 100,000, the one bedrooms I'm referring to, they're still happy because they're still at 1% of the value that they can charge. But I ask you, what happens if they do charge 10% more in tax? So now you're going to turn around and say, okay, I'm going to charge 10% more. So now I'm going to charge 110. That may be well and good, but the problem's going to arise sooner or later when people start buying properties. Like right now, they're charging 160 for one bedrooms, and they're charging 215 to 220, 230 for two bedrooms. Can you charge 230 plus 10%? Can you charge 250 for a two bedroom in Los Corrales? Yes, you can. If it's close to the beach, I would imagine. But normally, I don't think that's a thing. Not normally. So now your ROI is going to be under 10%. And now you're going to sit there and go, well, why did I wait 5 or 6 years to have this built? Why am I worrying about if I got a 50 or 60% rental rate or 40% or hell, heaven forbid, 30% rental rate where I'm down to 5% annually? Is that really worth it? Hell no. You're going to be trying to bail out. And now to try and bail out and tell somebody, hey, man, I want you to buy this for me for $300,000, but this thing only made like $15,000 profit this year. I mean, come on. Seriously? That's where this is going. So that's why when you're sitting around for 1, 2, 3, 4 years, some people may be unhappy. I'm unhappy people have to wait for 5 years. But as it's going to turn out, your property that just gets dropped off in the next 2024, 2025 that you paid $125,000, $130,000 for a penthouse unit, right? $79,000, $80,000 for a one bedroom. That's inside Vista Cana, for instance. You're going to be ahead of the game because you're going to be able to charge more than those prices 1% of your price. So that way you'll always be in double digits return. But since you're going to be able to charge more than what you bought it for, then you're going to be in double digits heading towards 20% returns. That's all I'm going to say. That's why when you tell me, and I told you guys back in the day, if you're going to buy a condo and all it has is a pool and a fitness center, i.e. downtown, Casa, Central Park, Palace Suites, Canarena, all these things. Now the new one, Kaya, all these guys. At Kaya, you have stuff that's 190,000, 95,000, 100,000. You're still going to be safe. Downtown, $100 a night, fine. But soon as that goes to 150, 175, 200, you have a ceiling. You're going to have a ceiling. And when you say, all I have is a pool and a fitness center, and that's it, and I stay downtown, and yeah, I have the mall, this, that, and the other, fine. But you're not going to be able to charge the same thing in the guy at Atlanta, Vista Cana, guy that has Cruise on Land, a guy that's going to have Larimar, the guy that's going to have what other projects out there. You're not going to be able to charge the same. That's ridiculous because there's too many amenities that's built in. They don't have to leave. People are going to say, hell yeah, I'm going to stay here. Why do I want to go somewhere else when I have restaurant, mini marts, and pools and fitness and everything else? That's what's going to end up happening. So keep that in mind. As we go forward, you want to build wealth? Now is your time. You can't wait around. You don't have no more time in the DR. Let's just put it like it is. Their cost of the materials are rising. They're on an island. Every time they have to, the shipping price goes up 10 cents. That means there's a trickle effect down line. The price of the materials have to go up. They don't make 100% of the materials on the island. So therefore, prices have to go up, and you cannot afford to buy 1 bedrooms at 200 G's, 2 bedrooms at 300 G's. That's not a thing. I mean, it is a thing because they're selling 2-bedroom penthouses right now in Vista Cana at 7 Palms for $249,000 without anything, without furniture, without appliances. So that means you're going to spend another 40 G's. Well, I don't know how much, 30 to 40 G's. So that's costing you in reality $280. You're going to be able to rent $280, $300 a night in a penthouse in Vista Cana. I don't know. But that is freaking a high risk. That's high. That's way different than spending 125, 135, 145, 150. I would bet you can get 150. I don't know about 300. We'll see. But I'd feel much more comfortable buying at 120, 130, 150 and renting for 300 than buying at 250 to 300 and trying to rent at 250 to 300. All right. That's what we're talking about here. All right. Enough about that. Shout out to Glenny. Exactly. Okay. Speaking of real estate, once again, you want to build wealth, you got to be in the real estate game. Want to build wealth, got to be in the equity game. Want to build wealth, got to be in the business game. This real estate we're talking about is business because it's short-term rentals. So you get the best of both worlds. You get the value of the real estate price increase, and you get a return on your investment that you control, and you can turn it into a business. It's a beautiful thing. Shout out to Glenny. All right. Victor Marrero, after being on the waiting list for over 2 months, I finally got my Robinhood 3% cash back today. I am already cranking up those rewards that I can transfer to invest. This is how to scale up. Exactly. If you're out here spending money, wasting money, doing whatever, liability spending, get those rewards. We talked about this 4 or 5 years ago heavily. We used to talk about it a lot more. Your credit cards, all of this, it comes back to you. So if you're going to use credit cards, have the rewards. If you're going to have investments, have the rewards. I mean, that's what we have to do here, right? Take it. Mo, what's the latest with Larimar? Still no permits yet? Just that environmental approval? Don't they need the permits in order to start building? Yes, Vic. Mo. Yeah, it's standard issue, man. There's no way around it. This is why, okay, You know my pet peeve. This is why there's nothing. Amolosare. Hello. Period. Torres. Hello on Instagram. Yeah. Again, here's what I do. Instagram.com. Let's just go over to Instagram. Let's go see what they got. Let's find where Larimar City is, shall we? Let's see what they post. All right, let's go find Larimar. I don't really know. Okay, Larimar. Eric Worre does network marketing. He has classes that he used to do at no cost back in the day. Eric Worre also plays poker. Very good poker player as well. Anyhow, Larimar. So here's Larimar right here. Here's what I go by, just so everybody knows. I go by, this is Larimar. So is there a post about it? Real about it? Let's see. I don't see anything. Is there a real about it? That environmental license? Nothing. That came out on the 23rd. It's the 24th. Officially, everybody knew about it on the 24th, right? Except me, thanks to Joel Nolasco. He told me about it on the 23rd, I think it was. But it did not matter. Because if Larimar doesn't show it, then I'm not counting it. That means exactly what Mo is alluding to. The environmental license was just that. Now they need the permits. See, they don't say anything. There's nothing here. Back to Christmas. Look, there's no moving dirt, nothing. All right. Look, there's nothing here. So that's their reels. Now, there's another one which was called Grupo. Claire HP, I think. I think that was it. Yes. Grupo, let's see. Grupo Claire HP, which is I guess this is Claire HP, right? So I come here, and again, this right here is their latest post about the environmental. So I go here, I don't see anything. I go here, this is it. Right here, talking about, this is the last post. All right, 51 hearts, 8. Again, if they had the permits were expedited and they had them, believe me, they would be down there showing pictures and they would be throwing it all over the internet. But they don't. So that means there's no permits. I'm just going by what I see. I can't go by words anymore with these guys. All right. So I'm not going by any words. So just so you guys know, that's what we're talking about. Okay. That's the latest, man. Yes. You got it right, Mo. You know how to the same thing in the USA. Same thing here, I think, is going to apply. You had your look, and first of all, man, this is so. I just get a little annoyed. Let me explain something to you. In the USA, those developments where you all of a sudden see somebody's planning on putting 500 homes in the pastures that used to be out there. Most people do not realize, unless they're within like a half a mile or a mile, they probably would not get any contact. But the people that live within a certain range, they get something in the mail that says there's going to be a meeting down or at the courthouse or city council or whatever about this project that this developer wants to build. You need to come down here and put up any reasons why you don't want to do it, or you can send a letter in. That is the environmental and the pre-approval process, first of all, to see if the community will allow it. The second phase, during that time as well, the building department is going to be saying, hey, man, you're going to, that 500 homes is going to bring in like how many? That's 4 people a home. That's 2,000 more residents. So what about the water, sewer, garbage, electrical? And what about the impact on the residents and on that area? We need an environmental impact report before we're going to approve anything. So now they start all of that because the foregone conclusion is it's going to be approved by the city because that's additional revenue. They're going to talk the people into it, whether they disagree or not. It's still going to happen. So you got to go get an environmental impact report from, we'll accept them from this company, that company, or in some instances, they'll accept it from whoever. But all I'm saying is we need an environmental impact report. It's going to cost you X amount of dollars. So that's when they go down to find out if it's reasonable, if they're going to affect any rivers, streams, endangered species, trees, like in the instance of California. You can't pull them up. Whatever we got to do. The conservation situation, got to know all of it. So until that report comes in and until that approval comes in from the city council and the city itself or the county, no permit's going to be issued for you to build a damn thing. So what you're going to find yourself doing is you're going to say, man, I need entrance into here, so let me start building my own road. But even that isn't really against the rules. So the fact of the matter is, if it goes just like in America, they're not going to have permits. They're going to have to get approval. And you know what that means. If they didn't get expedited permits, then that means if it's a normal process, that means 3 to 6 months. 3 to 6 months now puts us at August, September, October through January. That's 2024. 2025. So if I can't build now and I can't build until 2025 or even December, well, what are we saying? There's going to be hurricane season, rainy season, all this stuff. In fact, Mo, I got to talk about this a little bit more because this is crazy. This is crazy. There's something I forgot about. In fact, let me go over here and show people when it comes to real estate in the Dominican Republic. I forgot about this. How many holidays in a year in the Dominican Republic? There's a hell of a lot of them. Dominican Republic has many holidays, including blah, 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 blah. How many, though? 12. 12 national holidays. So out of my 52 weeks, I'll just say 40 weeks is when we can build. The reason why this is significant, here's the situation. Under the environmental impact license, you can only build between 7 a.m. and 6 p.m. Monday through Friday. Saturday, 7 a.m. to 1 p.m. So now that we've gotten away with, I'll just call this 2 weeks, 14 days, 2 weeks are burnt for holidays because you can't work on holidays and you can't work on Sundays. There's 52 Sundays a year. Divide that by 7. So now you just got rid of 7 more weeks. That's 8 weeks. That's 2 months you can't build. Based on the 52 days, 52 Sundays, and the 12 national holidays. Right? That's 10 months you can build. All right? So Saturday, you can only work till 1 p.m. So when you start thinking about all this, when people say, oh, yeah, this is going to be done, I'm like, dude, you can't even work until midnight. You can't work till 9 p.m. at night. You can't work on Saturday and Sunday all day. So therefore, you're limited. You done blocked off 2 months minimum. Never mind if something crazy happens. What's that something crazy you say? The crazy is, what happens if there is a hurricane? What happens if there is an earthquake? What happens if there's whatever that they're going to, high winds, because it was 110 mile per hour winds or 120 and it messed up the area. All of this comes into play. Never mind all the rules by the environmental license. What happens if you stumble upon endangered species? What happens if you run upon floral or fauna that you can't remove? All this makes it, there's no way on 800 and some acres, there will be environmental situations. There's just no way around it. So not only are you going to have 10 months build time out of the year, you have 2 months gone. So this explains why when people are thinking, oh yeah, they'll just build every day. Why not? You could have different crews. No, not in this case. Not in this case, ladies and gentlemen. So you don't get to build 12 months a year. Just saying. Just saying. So there you go. At this pace, they're looking at 6 years to build just one tower. Hey, Mo, Mo, he's getting crazy. Hey, I can't even say anything at this point. I can't say anything. I can't even, again, all I know is I'm looking at 2027. If, and that's a big if they started building like now. If you start talking about 6 months later or anything like that, that's 2025. There's no way you're going to be able to build 4 towers in 2 years. So if you don't start until 2025 of January, then who knows, man? Mo's 6 years may be the deal, because if this is 2024, and we have people here watching right now that started their contract in 2021, at the end of 2021. So coming up is already 30, it's going to be 3 years. Sorry, not 2021. 2022, at the end of 2022, because 3 years would have been 36-month contracts. They weren't 36 months. So 2022, September, October, November, December, people have contracts. So here it is, 2024. 2025 is going to be 3 years. A year from now, almost 3 years. For some people's, well, their payment plan's over, but it'll be 3 years. And in 3 years, they have no tower built. So when that comes up and it takes another 2 or 3 or 4, it could be 5 or 6 years, just like everybody else. They're nothing special. They're just like everybody else. So you're right. It might be that Ticketmaster was hacked again. Hey, man, you hackers, why are you hacking my websites? Why are you hacking me? Why are you hacking the SSN Nation? Why don't you freaking hack the IRS? Why don't you hack some banks? Be a Robin Hood and throw money in all of the people that have accounts lower than 50 grand. Why don't you do the right thing if you're going to be doing hacking? Why are you hacking Ticketmaster, where people actually paid money into to go see concerts? Come on now. Somebody's hard-earned money. Come on, be a Robin Hood out here. Somebody might have seen my socialist post out here earlier today. Victor at Mo Better. That is my timeline also, 6 years. Granted, COVID delayed it 2 years. If they get the green light from the government, the initial foundation construction goes pretty fast. Hey, Victor, they got issues, though. See, I'd be willing to bet you the golf course See, here's the advantage of the golf course properties. They already had their environmental impact done. They already know what the floral, the fauna, the endangered species. They already know that's out the way. It's a whole different ball game than what's happening up at Larimar, where it's all farmland. Because you can have endangered species on farmland because they're not trying to do anything. But when you're trying to put buildings down that's going to remove those animals or endangered species or flowers and fauna and all that, now all of a sudden you got to do something. You're just not going to burn it. You're not going to tear it down. You're not going to just kill the animals. You have to move them. You have to move that vegetation. You have to do all kind of stuff. So that delays you. So you're building twice. So you understand what I'm trying to say is and we have 800 acres. I'd be willing to bet you on 800 acres, there's probably something. We just don't know if it's just, a half an acre and that's it, or if there's more. But the point I'm trying to make is if they run into anything, that means I can't just bulldoze down these trees and be done with it and come pick it up. That means I have to extract it and heaven forbid if I have to leave it. So therefore I can't leave it, right? Because I'm supposed to have basketball sports courts over this. I'm supposed to have towers built over this. So I can't leave it. So where are we going to have our green space? Do we want to keep these endangered species here, or are we going to have to relocate them somewhere else? Either way, I got to do what I got to do to get it relocated. Unless I want to leave it as part of the property. So that's what I'm afraid of on 800 acres. And never mind if they find caves and if they find some rivers and streams and all this, man, that changes everything. So it's not out of the realm that this could be before you can even get the first 5 towers up and the cliff parts, because remember below the cliff is protected. Speaking of protected fauna, you can't build on the cliff and you can't build down on the cliff. I think it's like 100 feet when you hit the bottom, 100 to 200 feet. You can't do any building. So I'm just saying, so you never know what's going to happen. So it's not going to be easy for them, I don't think. It would be nice if there was nothing, but let's get real. Farmland, acres, 800 acres that's been uninhabited for who knows how long. I mean, that could be interesting. Very, very interesting. All right. Joel Nolasco's in here. Felix the cat's in the house. Very nice to see you once again, man. Make sure you guys smash the like button on Instagram. That's right. We had to do Instagram now. We added that into the mix. Not only the Twitches, Facebook. We got a problem connecting there now. Of course we do. So everybody on Facebook, sorry. That's why you can't get, Facebook's not watching. But if you're on Facebook and used to get on Facebook, there's connection issues with StreamYard, apparently. Keep saying we're connected, but it won't connect. So it might be because I might have some sort of restriction now with Facebook. I don't know why. Very, very wild. All right. But that Ticketmaster being hacked, come on, hackers. All right, ladies and gentlemen. Hopefully you had your pen, pad, and paper ready. Hopefully you got some of those dividend stocks. You know where to go. And I've left one out, IEP. That is not a real estate investment trust. That is the Icon Group. All right. And I gave Mr. Dividends Energy Transfer, ET, for all of you guys who care about 6 or 7 or 8% and going to waste your money buying real estate to get 6 or 7 or 8%. Don't waste your time. Just go buy some ET. It's an energy stock, and they give 8% return right now. And you're liquid. What do I mean by liquid? You bought the stock. Let's just say you put $50,000 in, right? Your $50,000 is in your brokerage account, but it's changed into the ET stock. The ET stock is going to give you $4,000 a year while you're sleeping. The stock, as long as the stock price stays the same or goes a little bit higher, which will go just a little bit higher, but it'll stay nearly the same, you still are liquid because you can sell the stocks today. You can have the money in your account tomorrow or the next day, depending on your brokerage. So you're always liquid. Unlike real estate, you're not liquid. You have to sell it. It can sit on the market for 30 days, 2 weeks, 1 day, or 6 months. And then somebody has to go through escrow. And the way things are going, more and more people are going to have to rely on financing, because once you get to $200,000, $300,000, financing is going to come into play, because most people are not going to have $100,000 to $150,000 at their disposal to just buy it outright. So let's get real. All right. So the timelines are the timelines, but if you're going to be involved in anything, you have to know what you're doing. Right. Okay. Smash the button on the way out. And thank you so much for being here. I love you guys very much. I appreciate your support over all these years. Thank you. And please like, subscribe, and click the bell below so you get the latest updates. And I know it's hard out here. And that's why we have to talk about, are you ready to build wealth now? Because your time is ticking. You have 45 days before the hammer, or shall I say, the timer starts. You, from that point, you have 3 years, and you have 2 years to get your assets right now. After 2 years, it's a wrap, because if you don't have any way to bet, because they're going to make you put down 10%. If you want to get into the debt trap game of owning your house without having revenue or profits coming in to pay for a house, you're going to be in the debt trap for life. And unfortunately, homes will not be on average $442,000. They'll be on average $642,000. All right. And you're not going to want to sit pretty, because I'm going to tell you right now, you have to make household income more than $175,000 to qualify. So therefore, that's why I tell you, you're going to have to make revenues of $200,000 or more as a person, as a business, as well as profit. Profit-wise, your job-wise or revenues coming in have to be more than $200,000 if you want to have a middle-class life, which those days are over. The upper middle class is about to get wiped out now. And unless you get in this bull run and get out of the debt trap, get rid of all of your expenses. Any liabilities you have right now, any liability payments, you want to get rid of those ASAP. ASAP. This is no joke. It's an alarm bell going off right here in the SSN Nation. In fact, that's Financial Survival number 2 video that's going to be coming out. The Financial Survival alarm bell is ringing. You're about to be poor. And trust me, there's a lot of people around here who do make 30,000, 40,000, 50,000, and they wish they could make 100, because it's no fun making that while you're sitting there watching things rise in price. And when interest rates go down, prices rise too. Don't let that fool you, because more people are buying, more money in the money supply. Therefore, they know you have money, because there's a lot of people that's going to refi. There's money. What are they going to do? They're going to be stupid. Like always. They're going to go, yep, I'm going to go buy cars. I'm going to go buy motorcycles. I'm going to go buy RVs. I'm going to go buy little toys. I'm going to go buy whatever I want that are liabilities. And that's going to increase the prices, because there's going to be trillions of dollars that's going to be available to people. And they're going to use it like they always do. They're not going to invest like they should. They're going to buy liabilities, things that go down, when in fact they should be reinvesting in any liability, any asset you can. That's your mantra for the next 2 years. Buy any asset that pays you that you can. That's what you should be doing. All right. I just want to make it clear, because we don't want anybody after my retirement ceremony in 2028. I don't want anybody to tell me Eric didn't tell me so, that the upper middle class is wiped out. What's upper middle class? Over 100,000, 150, 160, 170,000 right now. You're going to have to be in the top 10% of the wealthiest in the country. You're going to have to be part of, unfortunately. Let me ask you guys something. The people here in the SSN Nation, you guys know the answer. How many millionaires are there? How many millionaires? In fact, I'll narrow it down. I'm going to actually Google it. How many millionaires in the world? All right. You're going to be surprised by this. I've been telling people for a while the number 50 to 60 million, right? Because it's going to rise because there's more money and therefore it's not hard to be a millionaire like it was 30 years ago, right? It costs you more money now. So here's the answer. 58 million in the world. That's it. Okay. We have people right here listening to this in our chat room right now that in 3 years, in 2 years, they are going to be holding over $1 million worth of real estate. In fact, it's going to be approaching 1.5 to $2 million, and they will owe money. They may owe a few $100,000, but soon as they get up to 1.5, you take away the 400,000, that's a millionaire, ladies and gentlemen, because they're going to have $1 million worth of equity. All right, that they can tap into. So this is what you're going to have to decide. Are you going to have some stocks that you can tap into? Because remember, you can borrow against your stocks too, once you have enough of them. Don't be fooled. You have contracts for your business because you're a smart one. You said, I like what Eric told me about derivatives all the time, where he said, I have a business and I should actually make a contract where people pay me more because I'm going to add interest. And that more on paper means today more. So I'm going to extend this live stream because we have people paying attention now. Here's what you do when you have a business. Some people say, man, I'm having a hard time out of business. What do? You don't have sales? Then you do the credit thing. You make up a contract where a person's going to pay you. And based on your risk, that's the interest rate. If you think a person is low risk, then you're okay, 5%, whatever. If you're doing high risk where people may not pay you, then you say something 28%. I mean, what are you playing around for? But at least you get a person on a payment plan. You get a piece of paper. And just because you sold somebody something for $800, you get them at a 28% rate, 20%. I don't care what you do, 15%, whatever. Now that $800 is worth more than $800. And now I can go down to ABC Financial and tell them, hey, man, I sold 20 of these things. And then it's worth $1,000. That's 20 grand. So now you tell them, what would you give me up front? If they come back and say, hey, man, I'll give you 8, 9, 10 G's, then what are you waiting for? You just sold your derivatives. You didn't collect 8, 9, 10 grand. In fact, you won't collect 8, 9, 10 grand until the 20 people pay a year or two worth of payments. So why are you not just going to say, thank you very much, give me my 8, 9, 10 grand? They are now taking the risk because they have to collect the money. So it's their risk. Your risk is gone. So is that not worth taking that risk? Now you got the money up front. Now you can use that money up front to expand, do some things with your business. Or you can just keep holding the paper for a rainy day. But either way, you're selling product. And now your next person you may not need to give a contract to. They'll just buy outright. I'm just saying that put yourself in position. That's all you can do. Be in position. What happens after that is up to you. So that's what you do with the derivative. So this is what you can do with assets. Assets are derivatives based. My house goes up, I can get a loan. Real estate goes up, I can get a loan. Stocks go up, I can actually get a loan. All right. Multifamily goes up, I can get a loan against. Think about it. I have a business that has restaurant equipment inside. hundreds of thousands of dollars. I can get a loan. All right. This is simple. I have revenues of $10,000 to $15,000 a month coming in through PayPal. I can get a loan because it's based on the revenue that you've shown over the last year. So they'll give you a loan based on your revenue numbers. So now you parlay it into several things. So now you have your accounts, you have Blue Vine. I'm just saying, bank account. You have several opportunities out here. You have Stripe, you have a bunch of things where you can get loan based on your revenue numbers for your business. If you have 3 businesses, each business is doing kind of well, 20 G's, 15 G's, 10 G's a month. All 3 businesses can get a separate loan if you need a loan. I'm not advising getting loans, but I'm just saying, but you were getting a loan in order to buy more assets, not to go buy liabilities, to go buy assets. Are you going to be ready for the bull run? You buy assets. Hopefully I've made an impact this evening. And again, I thank you guys very much for being here. I'll see you on Wednesday night for the Wealthy Wednesday night live stream. If you can't get in the chat room on Wednesday night, it's because members with the icon, they're the only ones that can be in the chat room. Everybody else you can watch. All right. And I'll be doing my last live stream. I will not be live streaming on Instagram on Wednesday. So it'll be shut down. And so, again, you're going to have to be a member of the YouTube channel in order to be in the chat room on Wednesday. All right. So with all that said, ladies and gentlemen, be safe out here. A lot of people are seriously on some next level stuff. And it's getting crazy because there's a lot of people out here wanting other people to go by their standards. And the reason I'm bringing this up is because I was born in France. And if you hang out in the Eurozone, if you study, you don't even have to hang out. If you study history from the European zone perspective and you go through their articles, their written paperwork for when they came over to America 500 years ago, 400 years ago, 300 years ago, and then what they went through 1,000 years ago, then you get a better idea of the world is not America. What people think is not here. Because you have freedom of speech here, you think your freedom of speech can control other people and tell other people what their rights are and what their rights aren't, even though our Constitution tells you what your rights are and what your rights are. So why I bring this up is because Victor Marrero on Friday, was it Friday? I think it was Friday, said the opening ceremony was awesome. I agree. But there's an uproar because the people in America, the Christians in America said, hey, did you see that guy, the blue suit, naked? Well, some people might not have seen him because in America, you might have been censored. The rest of the world, because they don't have censorship with regarding nudity or looking like nudity, they saw it. So depending on what channel you're watching, or if you have IPTV, you might not have seen the green screen situation. You might have seen the blue man and a few other people. And people, the Christians and other people, those who like to tell everybody what they should and shouldn't do and what the, how they should believe, they said you're mocking the Last Supper. Well, you know why people would say that is because you haven't studied Greek mythology. You're not part of the rest of the world that's thousands of years old. So you didn't know it was based on some Greek pictures. But because the Christian guys don't believe that men wrote their Bible and used images from stories that were already previously out there. Again, you should study. They thought it was the Last Supper, and they're mocking the Last Supper. People are in an uproar over this. So again, had nothing to do with them, nothing to do with anything. Just believe in the 10 Commandments and call it a day. People break them all the time. And we're about to vote for people that break them all the time. So let's get real. Don't get all high and mighty. All right. But people are out here losing their rocker over that. So just be safe out there, ladies and gentlemen. Oh, and by the way, let me get on the other one, the golden calf. The golden calf is not what that represented for all the people. Again, I don't understand what the hell's going on. That is sitting over a fountain in France because it was in the 1937 World's Fair. That had nothing to do with golden calf as in the idols and all that stuff. It had nothing to do with the Bible. And you can get a picture of it, the image of the golden calf image that exists that's sitting at fountains right now. All right. That's how disgusted I am listening to people freaking out over stuff that is not even related to what they're thinking it's related to. So I'm just saying, people are out here wilding about a lot of stuff. Their minds have gotten to a point where they haven't studied, they're not worldwide, and they don't understand. Everything isn't American. It ain't about religion either. So again, be safe out there because people do things under the name of. So watch your back, be safe, and be kind to one another. And with all that said, keep your head up, keep moving, and I'm out.